Hey hippies, welcome back. I have another awesome tutorial for you guys. If you're new here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that I do put out for you guys moving forward. Alright, so today we are going to be starting out making this beautiful canna bling mirror. I do have other shapes available as well upon request, so if you are interested in ordering a custom mirror, just make sure you reach out and I'll be more than happy to get that taken care of for you. Alright, so what we're doing first is I am carefully unwrapping my mold from the plastic. It's brand new, so this is the first time I'll actually be creating a mirror this big. If you've already been subscribed to me for some time and you've been here before, then you've probably seen that little handheld mirror that I have made before, and it was very beautiful, so I'm really excited to get a bigger one started. Alright, so what I'm going to start out is I'm just kind of measuring my rhinestone chain across around where the mirror is going to sit. So the mirror itself is going to actually sit where this little raised part is. So I'm just kind of going around this and everything and tracing and measuring to make sure that I have it to the length I need, and then I'm just going to use my wire cutters to go ahead and, you know, cut that into the size I need. Now this does cut out on me, so my bad about that. You're not going to see me actually cut it, but I did get it cut into shape and it's super easy. You've seen me cut chain before. So I went ahead and prepped my resin. I do not currently have the amounts on here because this is something that I'm creating and the mold maker doesn't have me on payroll at the end of the day. So I do not have the measurements for you guys, but if you guys do find the mold yourself, like, yeah, they're really good quality. I do actually really like this mold maker. So I hope he does change his mind. We shall see. Go with a Q-tip, I'm sorry. Take your toothpick and kind of go around those edges and everything. You just want to get into those corners and make sure there aren't any little lingering bubbles or anything like that, and get all those taken care of and squared away. From here, you're just going to take your rhinestone chain and you're going to place it face down into the resin where you need it. I did also cut a smaller piece of chain to go over here where that little circle hole is. You know how people hang up their mirrors on the hooks and everything? So I'm just kind of putting a rhinestone chain around that area. And then I'm taking my larger rhinestone chain and I'm doing the same exact thing around where the mirror is going to sit. And take your time with this part, so that way you can make sure that everything's face down and your rhinestone chain isn't twisting all around, because that will make it so difficult. So just make sure that you are placing it evenly and slowly and taking your time. Right here you see me just kind of pushing things into place and everything using that same toothpick. I'm just making sure that my rhinestone chain is up against the mold and pressed up against there firmly, because I want it to like really circle where the mirror is. So I'm being careful with that. Here I'm taking a foil that I pre-made. I'm just going to place it into the handle. It says Your Highness because this is, you know, a weed mirror, so like just kind of a play on that, you know. Hi, weed, ha ha ha, you get it? Alright, so we're just gonna go ahead, place that face down, and you're going to press it in there firmly so that way you can make sure it's completely submerged in the resin and that there aren't any bubbles underneath. From there, you're just going to go ahead and place your tumbled amethyst. You want to use the smaller chips and everything. Make sure they're nice and flat so it's not creating any bubbles in this handle or on the overall casting at all. And you're just going to place these where you want them. I'm creating like this nice little effect, so I'm just going to kind of take them upwards and just, you know, kind of create this ombre effect from the glitter I'll be bringing in later using these crystals, and you guys will see what I'm talking about towards the end. Now, if you guys are interested in a lot of the products that I am using, I do offer mystery boxes on my Etsy store. So they're really exciting because they're themed, so that way you're able to have a little bit more control over what you are going to be receiving within your mystery box. But my mystery boxes, they have crystals, they have rhinestone chains, they have foils, they have glitter mixes that you won't be able to find anywhere else because they are handmade by me. I just have like a lot of different stuff, LED lights, I have water slides, temporary tattoos. There's just so much going on over there. You should definitely check it out if you're interested in, you know, just kind of stepping your resin game up a bit and bringing in some bling and some resin couture, as I like to say. All right, so just go ahead and hit the link below if you are interested. I have 3 different themes and I think you'll really enjoy them, so definitely make sure you do check that out. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm just mixing up some glitter into a little bit of resin, so that way I can get that glitter mix going and create that ombre effect that I was literally just telling you guys about. And just mix it up really well. You want to make sure there aren't any bubbles, and then you're just going to pour into the top of the mold rim, and you're going to be mindful about where you're placing it and everything because the glitter is going to slide, so make sure you are kind of being even about, like, you know, where you're putting everything as you move around, so that way there's not more glitter on one side than there is on the other. Scrape the rest of your cup out, and then also put some of that glitter mix towards the handle, on the tip of that handle, and then you're just going to spray some alcohol and allow that to cure. Alright, hippies, so once that's cured, you're just going to go ahead and mix up a little bit more resin, and from here we are going to be doing our colors. So this is going to be kind of another ombre, like, so we kind of got 2 different ombres going on here, one with the glitter and the stones, and the other is going to be with these 2 different purples that I'm making. So I'm mixing up 2 different purples. One is going to be a really light lavender color, and the other one is going to be a really deep rich purple color that is going to also glow in the dark. So I'm going to just like kind of get that added in and whatnot. We're mixing our resin, and you've seen me mix these resin powders so many times before. So what I'm doing is I'm just like doing what I normally do. Just take your mixing stick and mix until you get the color and the hue that you do want. Alright, so we got a lot of mixing done, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start pouring our resin into the mold. And we are going to start with this lighter color purple first, and you see me pouring this into the handle because I want the lighter color towards the bottom, so I make sure that handle's covered first, and then from there I just go ahead and bring that light colored purple up, and then I'm going to take that darker purple and place that to the top of my mold. Now, when I created these colors, I did make sure I made them nice and deep to kind of create an opaque look and whatnot. However, what I am also doing is making sure that I don't pour too much, because I don't want this to actually fill the mold. So you want it to be almost filled, but you don't want it completely filled. So that's why you don't see it just kind of flowing into each other, because what I'm going to do at this point is, one, make sure I scrape all the resin out from these cups and, you know, get as much of it as I can into the mold. And then you're just going to see me just kind of drag these colors into one another, so that way I can make sure that this particular layer is completely even and whatnot, and we have a nice smooth surface for what we are going to be doing next. So just go ahead and use those sticks, pull out all the resin that you do need to from those cups, and then just take your time pulling the resin and making sure that they meet and that there aren't any holes within the resin. Once you get it meeting, from here you're going to, like, you know, just kind of create a swirl pattern, because you don't want the line to just be so obvious. So I'm just dragging the dark into the light and dragging the light into the dark, just trying to kind of clear up that line of demarcation and everything, so that way I can, you know, have that ombre effect and that swirly wispy effect that I'm really going for here. Perfect, hippie. So now that that's cured, we're just going to go ahead and grab our inserts. I'm adding some resin to the back of these canna leaves. Now, like I said, I am still searching for some canna leaves to wholesale for you guys. In Etsy, they have so many different regulations on how to sell them, so I'm still getting it worked out for you and whatnot. But don't worry, because I am very much well on my way, guys, okay? Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just adding a little bit of resin to the back of these leaves, sort of treating it like a glue, and then I'm just placing them where I want them and making sure that they are nice and flat. And I'm also going to make sure that there's resin covering these leaves as well. So I want it to be all around the leaf, under the leaf, and on top of the leaf in a nice thin layer. From here, you're going to be taking your flowers and you're just going to place these in a pattern around the leaves and stuff that you are using, and just getting it in a beautiful pattern. I'm trying to randomize it a bit. I am currently using purple and white larkspur flowers. I found these on Amazon, I believe. I do get flowers from a bunch of different places, but y'all, like, I can't be more serious about this. You gonna pay me for promo thing. There's not a lot of things you gotta do in life, but paying me for promo is one of them for sure. So I do not have a flower person, a pressed flower person for you. However, I do sell them inside of my mystery boxes, so definitely make sure you check those out. Like I told you guys before, my Etsy shop is linked below, so that way I can get you guys a lot of these great things that I am using for inserts. So you see me now adding foils on here. I'm doing the same thing that I did with the canna leaves. I am just adding some resin to the back of this foil, and then I'm just going to place it down firmly where I want it. So make sure that you do push any bubbles out. Be very careful when pushing with the foil, because the foil can be kind of fragile, and you don't want to disrupt the little pattern that's on here and cause some scrapes, because then it won't look right. You're gonna have to start all over, and you know, we're pretty far into this casting. We definitely don't want to start over at this point, and so be mindful of that. And here you see me doing the same thing to this other foil that I'm going to be adding on here, and I just put some on the back and then I place it down on there where I want. Now, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I had smoked before I did this, and because of the angle I was sitting at, it looked like it was even, but I'm glad I realized that it wasn't before it started curing, because from there I was able to adjust my foils so that way they're actually lined up towards the bottom, and they are, like, you know, just kind of in sync with the orientation of the mirror and everything. So you're gonna see me like move these foils around and everything, and I'm also adding in some more of these larkspur flowers just to create like more dimension and everything, and further decorate it and get the look that I'm going for. I'm pushing these foils around, like I was telling you, because of the resin that's underneath. They're pretty easy to maneuver and push around, so that's a blessing. Alright, so from here you see me take the remaining of that little glitter mix that we had used in the very first step, and I'm just kind of going around the flowers and everything, and just adding a little bit glitter. Gives a nice little magical touch, in my opinion. I really like how the glitter surrounding the flowers looks. I'm being careful not to get any on top of my foils as well, because I don't want it to disrupt the look of the foils. The foils themselves are shiny enough, and I don't need any glitter to help with that. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking that same toothpick, I'm just swirling the glitter around so it looks more randomized and it doesn't look like I placed it there. So that just helps with the overall look that I'm going for. I'm trying to make it look kind of carefree and like it just kind of happened like that. I don't want this to look so planned, even though it's very, very, very much so planned. Alright, hippie, so you're just going to go ahead and fine tune those last little adjustments and everything. Don't worry about making this layer even and everything. We got another doming layer coming that's going to take care of that, so just allow that to cure. And once it's done curing, we're going to do exactly what I said. We're going to go ahead and dome this top layer. So what I did was I mixed up some clear resin and made sure that it was nice and bubble free with my heat gun and everything, and also my alcohol spray, and then I let it sit for a bit, and then from there I just kind of poured it on top of this layer, and then from here I'm using this stir stick just to kind of move everything around. You want to make sure that it doesn't overflow onto the edges of the mold and everything, because it's going to just make it harder for cleanup and everything. So yeah, just make sure that all the gaps are filled though, and you got this nice even layer going on, and there are no dips and no holes, so you may need to look from different angles, especially with this being a clear layer, so that way you can just make sure double, triple, quadruple check. Of course, once we're done with everything, you're going to spray it with alcohol like we always do, and then we are going to allow that it's time to cure. All right, once that's been given ample time to cure and it's nice and hard, I do like to wait a long time, especially with big pieces like this, so that way I can make sure there is absolutely no bending. And that's what the doming layers help with as well, to help build strength. But from here, you just see me wiggle this from the molds like I always do. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I get it released. Right, this is what we got now, and I'm just going to pull off any excess pieces that may be on the edge, so get that cleaned up nicely. And then once you do, I'm just going to go ahead and set this, oh, I'm sorry, first I'm going to go ahead and sand this down. So make sure you sand down any sharp edges after pulling any extra pieces off, just so that way you can make sure that no one cuts their hand or anything like that, especially with this being a piece that you're going to be holding pretty often and whatnot. So, you know, just make sure you go around those edges and trace your finger across to be sure. You can never be too sure with this. And then spray with alcohol and wipe with rag just to clean up any extra residue that may be lingering. From here, you're going to now go ahead and set this on top of some doming blocks or something like that, or you can get some medicine cups or something like that and turn them upside down. From here, we're pouring our liquid latex on top. This is just going to act as a protective layer for when we dome the front part, so that way if we do have any drippage or anything like that, we won't have to come through and sand and redome or anything like that. This will make sure that our back stays nice and shiny and protected. So of course, once you get that on there, you're going to let that liquid latex dry completely. Once it's dry, you're going to do the same thing to that middle part where that mirror is going to sit. Add in the liquid latex and just kind of push it in there. Use your finger because you know, you don't have to worry about any toxicity issues regarding liquid latex, which is a great thing. And just, you know, move that on around and whatnot, get it where you need it. I'm also using the tips of my finger to make sure it's kind of on that wall where the mirror is. So, you know, you have that flat piece where it is, and then you have the outside rim, but on the outside rim there's like kind of that wall where it meets where the mirror is. I'm just making sure there's some liquid latex on there as well, because I don't want to have a hard time placing my mirror into the mold because of drippage or anything like that, and little lumps and bumps. So this is going to help protect against that. And then of course, once you finish with that part, you're just going to go ahead and make sure that there's no excess on the edge and allow that to dry. Once it's nice and dry, we are going to take another little bit of resin that I pre-mixed in your stir stick, and then you're just going to place it onto the outer rim of this mold. Sorry, not the molds, because we're not even using the molds anymore, of this casting. So this is going to be the mirror and everything. You're just going to put it on the outside, and this will make sure that any air pockets that may have come up, this will make sure that it's filled. It's also going to create a nice shiny even coat and also help build strength, so that way it can be used over time. Allow that to cure. Alright hippies, so now it's time for the fun part. What you're gonna do is you're just going to take your little weeding tool, and you're just going to pull up this liquid latex. As you can see, it comes up nicely, evenly, and if there's any drippage or anything, that's going to pop right up for you too, especially if you made sure that you made that nice deep layer and whatnot. Now keep in mind that you may have to come back in with this weeding tool, especially if you have a bigger like little chunk of resin that might have gone on there and whatnot, but they will pop up for you. Just take your time and try not to scrape your overall piece. My camera did die on me during this, so you're not going to see me actually pull the back part off, but I did pull the back part off too once I finished with that. Once I got all the liquid latex off, what I did was I took that old thing of E6000 glue that I was having trouble with a couple videos before I bought my new pack. But because there was some left over in there, I knew there was a good bit left in the pack, but I knew I'd have to like cut it, and I really don't like wasting my supplies and everything. So this piece was finally big enough to where I needed this much E6000 glue, so I just went ahead and cut off the bottom, and then I pushed all the E6000 glue out, and I put it into the bottom of this of this mold. And then I'm also going to just take my stir stick and just kind of move it and maneuver around a bit so it doesn't pull up in one place. And then you're just going to place the mirror down carefully into the mold and press and let that dry. Alright hippies, so what we're going to do next is our final step, pulling off this little plastic film covering our mirror and keeping it protected so that way you guys can see how beautiful and shiny she is. I am so in love with this project. I know I say that with almost every project, but I really am, and I'm just really impressed with how this turned out, especially with it being my first one. These concepts really just be coming to me, and lately I've just been getting all these downloads on how to execute these pieces. I am loving how this mirror looks in the sunlight. I love how these crystals look with this purple, and I love how the rhinestones and the glitter like really just kind of frame the mirror. I love how the back of this mirror turned out. I got my girl on there with her locks, you know, kind of repping me and whatnot. I have my candilees. I have my foil that reads "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the highest of them all?" And that's why the handle says "Your Highness," so that way, you know, it's sort of like a little joke and everything. This is going to be a personal project that I actually keep for myself, especially since this girl is the same girl from my logo, if you can't tell, like from her tattoos and her markings and everything. Only thing that's changed up is her hair, because I do change mine up pretty often as well. But I just truly love this project, hippies, and I hope you guys loved it just as well. If you do, definitely make sure to leave a comment or something behind. Any questions, feedback is a gift, and I really love reading your comments and hearing what you guys got to say. And until next time, hippies, XO.